want to ask you, can you please explain about the economic corridor and how it works and why is it important for the economic corridors to work? For example,
Okay.
Yesterday we went to the to see the bridge, fourth bridge actually,
Yes.
that links Chiang Rai all the way to Laos, to China.
To China.
We went to see the R3B as well,
R3B.
linking the three countries and all
Yeah.
that. What has ADB contributed and what is ADB's future vision, mission, blah, 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 blah?
Okay, great.
Okay, go.
Thank you very much for your interesting question. First, I can give you a little bit of background on what we call the GMS Economic Cooperation Program. Okay, in 1992, the GS leaders, they came together and they met, and they put down a vision to develop the greater Mekong subregion as an integrated, as a prosperous, and as a harmonious subregion. Now, we see that tourism can contribute to all three of these components of the GMS leaders' vision for the development of the Mekong region. When we talk about integration, a lot of the Asian Development Bank and the member governments of the GMS, as well as other development partners, the investments have been on hardware, connectivity. So for example, this is development of the transport corridors. The route that you just mentioned, that's what we call the North-South Economic Corridor. The North-South Economic Corridor starts in Yunnan Province of the People's Republic of China, and it follows that route down, passes through Northwest Lao PDR, and goes right through Chiang Rai, where we're sitting here now, and then continues down south to Bangkok. With the completion of the roadway, ADB's contribution to the completion of the North-South Economic Corridor was we were able to provide concessional loans to the Lao PDR to finance approximately 110 kilometers of that roadway. The Lao government, as well as the government of the People's Republic of China, and also Thailand, helped to finance other segments of that road through Lao PDR and in the respective countries. So with the completion of this roadway, we see a tremendous boom in tourism, in trade facilitation, the movement of people, the movement of goods up and down this economic corridor. Now, with road transportation being improved and people moving, mobility of people being much easier, and travel facilitation for tourists also taking place, we see that there's some potential negative effects of this as well. So ADB's future investments in the Economic Corridors Development Program will be to help promote safe labor migration, communicable disease control, to help the GMS member governments extend and deepen the GMS economic corridors. This is with secondary feeder roads, trade and transport facilitation. I can say that over the last few months there's been a number of cross-border transport agreements that have been signed between the member countries. So now buses can travel freely through the countries, as well as trucks that carry freight. And we're also helping to assist the governments to put protocols in place where private cars can move easier across the borders, which will help to facilitate travel and tourism. So this is, I guess you could say, this is one part of the GMS Economic Cooperation Program. ADB also helps the member governments to cooperate in agriculture, in health, in transport, in energy, and a number of other sectors. But for now, I'll keep the discussion to tourism because we're at the Mekong Tourism Forum.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Very interesting. I just want to know in terms of connectivity, we're building roads, there's train linkages, and also the problem is, I heard from a lot of business, the Chinese as well, saying that they have to use road because the Mekong River, the water level is going down. So they can't put too many things on their boat, so they need to have road linkages. So tell us about, sometimes the water level of Mekong is not so, that's why they can't do transportation and stuff, so that's why they need roads and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I think the member governments, they've focused on road transport for a number of reasons, for geography, for other economic reasons. But the roads are being used more and more. There's the GMS transport corridors were only completed in 2006, 2007, and 2008. So it's not so much the connectivity and the physical hardware, but actually getting the trucks across the borders quickly. This is where there needs to be more support in training border officials, different types of protocols in place, so you don't have to switch the cab of the truck, where you can just move containers more quickly across the borders. So I think what we've heard from our partners in the private sector that work in transport facilitation in terms of moving goods back and forth, they're happy with the roads. But in terms of the delays that we face at the border sometimes, the border crossing times need to be taken down to make the road transportation more competitive.
So what about the water level in Mekong? problem? I mean, it's not reliable, is it?
Well, the water level in the Mekong for thousands of years has fluctuated with the seasons, so it goes up and it goes down, and there is more and more shipping that takes place between southern PRC and other places. I think there's been a large port development in Xingsan, so I don't know the numbers, but I know that the trade by river is actually increasing year and year.
I know, but because the water level is fluctuating all the time, you can't rely only on water.
No, I agree, which is why we see there's many different types of transport that take place here in the Mekong. Some transportation, river transportation, more and more I think the main mode of transportation for people and for goods is on the roads. And also we see now an increased focus on transporting goods by railways, which is also a very efficient way of moving goods around the Mekong region.
Okay, let's talk about the AEC 2015. Everybody's scrambling for that deadline.
I'll try and do my best, depending on the question.
So okay, next. Okay, let's shift a little bit to Myanmar. I've heard that you're looking over the master plan of tourism development in Myanmar. What do you think? What do you think is the Myanmarese authority? Are they realized that their tourism facilities they're friendly enough to support the influx of tourists, and now there's a problem. Rakhine state is in trouble, and all the ethnic minorities, the problems, skirmishes still seem to be ongoing. What do you think about it?
Okay, great. That's an excellent question. I think the question on some of the problems that may be taking place in the Rakhine state, I'll put that to the side. But I'd like to answer your question about how Myanmar can prepare for what's going to be substantial tourism growth. Right now, the government of Norway is prepared to finance preparation of a tourism master plan for Myanmar, and in partnership with the Asian Development Bank. So yes, over the next few months, we'll be working closely with the Ministry of Hotels and Tourism to form in Myanmar, to form a team to put in place a framework for sustainable tourism development in Myanmar. As we heard this morning, our partner, one of our representatives from the Ministry of Hotels and Tourism, the Deputy Minister, Mr. Utai Ong, he's worked with the GMS Tourism Cooperation for longer than I've been involved, for many years. So I think Myanmar has some excellent leadership, and they have some excellent initiatives in place, and certainly the willingness to develop a framework for sustainable tourism in Myanmar. And the Asian Development Bank, we're happy to be able to support that process in cooperation with the government of Norway. So yeah, this will be starting soon in terms of what do I think that Myanmar needs to help develop tourism in a sustainable way. Well, as we heard from the inspiring presentation this morning, it's not so much about more numbers, but it's about managing those numbers. And how do we better manage tourism, manage it in destinations? That's done with people and human resource development. So I think what we've heard from our partners in Myanmar is that the two main priorities are human resource development in the tourism sector. This is both for public sector tourism managers and people working in the hospitality trades, but also we see as a need for infrastructure. Investment both in public sector infrastructure, this is roads and electricity and water supply and sanitation, but also there's certainly a need for an investment in the private sector infrastructure, superstructure, things like hotels and other types of tourist facilities and amenities. So these are some key things that we'll be looking at in the preparation of the master plan. But I can say that from my past experience in working with our partners in Myanmar, is there certainly very many capable people in the country, and they'll be guiding the development of this master plan, and ADB sees itself as kind of a neutral broker to help to facilitate a plan that's owned by the government and that can be implemented by the government.
Okay, can I ask? Sure. The ambitious plan for these countries, the Mekong region countries, members, to facilitate in terms of road, railway, boat, all that stuff. But how significant it is? Why do they want to push it to complete it before 2015 AEC? I know China plays an important role. Can you say a little bit of China, please, and from the media?
Sure. No, I think China is an important development partner.
1, 2, 3, go.
No. We have representatives from our friends from China at the meeting as well, from Yunnan Province and Guangxi, and China's provided a lot of development assistance for the Mekong countries for hardware, but also for software as well. We often hear about the PRC's assistance to build roads or to assist with railways or other types of investments, but also the PRC is supporting a lot of human resource development. We know from meetings we have a GMS working group on human resource development. thousands of scholarships are offered for GMS citizens every year to study in the People's Republic of China and also to gain experience and learn lessons. So, as we see this as a win-win situation whereby tighter economic integration in the greater Mekong subregion, the member countries really, they see this as an important initiative to help to, lift the levels of development, to help, I say, bring the less developed countries in the GMS up to a higher level of development and help to spread development to less developed parts of the GMS, both within the region and within the different countries.